The Love Show Radio Podcast. Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of the Love Show Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Tubby Love, aka SUPERPOWERS, aka just a guy with some really cool friends. Today's very special guest is truly one of the most heart-centered humans that I know. A brother, a visionary, a master of ceremonies. Max Ribner is in the building. From stages with some of your favorite artists to remote villages in Ghana, Max is gathering choirs around the world. He really lives and breathes it. A man of true sonic service. He's got that rare mix of technical mastery and deep spirit, and everything he creates feels like a call back home to community, to resilience, to love. He's toured the world, played with legends, but the real magic is the way he makes you feel seen in his presence. His newest release, Resilient Beings, is not just an album. It's a global prayer, woven with voices from around the world and rooted in the belief that music can build bridges where words are not enough. We're about to take a deep dive into music, healing, purpose, and whatever else the river brings, so take a deep breath, open up your heart, and welcome my dear friend, the maestro, Mr. Max Ribner, to the Love Show Radio Podcast. Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Love Show Radio Podcast. And we are vibing.
Hey.
Grateful to have my brother Max Ribner here. Thanks for joining me, bro.
So good to be here. What's up, family?
Yeah, we're just gonna flow. We got the piano. We got some candles lit. We got some tea.
We got the water. We got the fire. Giving thanks for the brotherhood.
Hallelujah.
Sisterhood. All of our family.
What a blessing to be here, man.
Seriously, man. The rains just came when we sat down. And so much is stored in water itself. So much is stored in water. Yeah, we were talking about that last night. Just the power of our tears and the power of breaking open and power of walking through this doorway of what it is to live in the art. Yeah.
Coming to you from Colorado.
Hey.
All places here in the center. And yeah, man, we've been on a journey together.
That word is microcosm. I feel like I was thinking on that yesterday of the journey. Yeah. There aren't too many words that, in some ways, the melody is the thing that when we really, I see you, I feel you. But yeah, it feels like 2 decades now.
Wow. Something like that. Yeah, man. We've been rolling strong.
The West Coast and the East Coast and the world and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grateful for you.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Likewise, man.
Yeah.
I'm so interested to just kind of dive right in, and we go way back, but I want to know about your origin story, all the way back to childhood, because I know you as someone who has been representing the Pacific Northwest for quite some time. That's kind of where you were at when I was starting the journey, where we met in Hawaii. You were kind of representing that. You had just been steeping in the Pacific Northwest, but I know that there's origin before that. And yeah, I want to hear about your journey through music, and how it started, how you grew up, the fam, all of it, and what brought you to the West and beyond.
Yeah. Like before that, the identity comes in of walking as the musician.
Yeah, like what were your parents playing on the radio? Like what were you?
Yeah,
you have a, I know you've got musical family and just
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's great. When we visit our past too, it helps me give gratitude for my blood family, Fred and Melissa Ribner, my brothers Noah and Tim Ribner. My brother Tim and I grew up playing together on our grandmother, who lived to be 100 years old, and we'd play on her piano every night. So I was born in Westerly, Rhode Island, the same hospital as Will Evans, another great artist.
Shout out Will
Similar
Evans.
year in 1985. Surprise baby, wasn't to be expected, and the third brother came in, and I was born in a thunderstorm, which is kind of cool. Diving right into the origin, my grandfather, Harold, died crossing the street when I was right close to when I was born. So a few days before, there's this transition period that happened. Great, the grandparent moves to the next realm, in comes this next generation. So I was born in this time of like confusion in some ways in our family of how do we process this right when the newborn comes. And the more I'm hearing this is a really common thing. A generation comes in and these waves and these arcs. And I grew up in Connecticut area, the Northeast, and that merged to traveling to Boston and New York City and relatives in New York City. And my aunt was a prolific writer, Susie Ribner, and she was one of the first women to help bridge women's martial arts in New York City. Protests in the 60s, so there was kind of this energy of meeting resistance and artistry in our family. And my cousin handed me a Kind of Blue, Miles Davis, when I was probably 8 or 9, and that record,
crucial record, changed
my life to Black American music, to creative improvised music, bending the notes and bending the melodies and adding voicings. So when I heard that when I was 8 or 9, that was like this bridge of first starting on the trumpet, now to more the flugelhorn. And my dad was like, dude, my son's got so much energy and running around like he'd call me a worm, a gusano. He'd say like, dude, you got to put some air through that. My dad has been this figure for me of giving the thumbs up. As we've talked about those times when we're at our lows or like questioning this path and those trials and tribulations of walking through the art, he'd be the one that, and still is the one that's like, I see you. I'm watching this video of First Language, which was 2 records ago, and I'm getting tears in my eyes, and then I get this text from him like, okay, I'm supposed to keep going. Thank you, Dad. And so there was this lineage of growing up with my brother and I, and learning how to improvise, which bridged to camps up in Maine, Sweden, Maine. It's called, little community up there, and learning orchestration bridged with jazz combo, bridged with lessons. And I struggled in school all throughout. Modern day education was never my first language. I was the last kid to finish on the tests and had a lot of shame with that and dealt with a lot of tears of not fitting in. So music was this bridge for me, and it still is, of like, I feel you, I understand you, I'm going to work with you, instead of that energy of like, what are you going to be when you grow up, which is this pressure we have of. So my life has been kind of this following energy. I don't know if you can relate, of like I'm following the next step. I don't have that standard 9 to 5 pathway, and I still have a lot of hard emotions of not fitting in society in some ways, and not being somewhere, just turning 40 and be like, you should be here and here, and then resting the ego and be like, brother, you're doing a beautiful thing with.
So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I know we both had the joy of attending Berklee College of Music in Boston. Yeah, can you share a little bit about your time there?
Yeah, I get smiley when I think of that journey, because it was, I don't know if you can relate, it's this highly intensive, immersive journey of everyone's there to learn and to become something, and the anticipation. I was just in school with Christian Scott and Esperanza Spalding.
Come on.
Prince's drummers walking down the hallway. So I had a lot of fear in some ways, and then thanks to a few mentors, trumpet teacher Tiger Okashi was just like really teaching me to find that unique voice. And so I was at Berklee School of Music 2003 to 2006, and the vice president used to be our neighbor, Gary Burton. So he was this bridge of like, come here, come check this out. It was either there or Miami, and the trumpet professor at Miami didn't show up, so I'm like, okay, there's my cue. And so I walked down these hallways, and I could feel this drive and this edge that just, I needed this to be immersed into something. And so, yeah, I was in Boston for those years, and interesting enough, by the end, I was engrossed. I had enough of music. Like, I lost it. And so then I had to take a year off, and I'd still play the keys and the horn, but it was like this kind of entrance. You know what's interesting is that's when music, I feel like, really came to me. So I went through this journey of studying, learning scales, and then there's been this mantra now of like, learn it to let it go. We talk about that.
That's right. Yeah, it takes twice as long to let it go than it does to learn it. Yeah.
Twice as long, yeah. Right, and that's the journey now of how do we really live through the art? What does it mean to live in that pathway of serving this soundscape of scales, and how does it interconnect with friendships and love?
Human emotion.
And how do we translate with our fingers through the horn, through the keys, through the voices?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, let it through, bro.
Yeah, so I was in the West Coast at this point. I took a year off, and I went to the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
And then my brother was his mentor. I don't know if I would love to hear from you too, if like there's specific mentors of like that can come into our life that are these anchor points of like.
Gotta show him love, man. Gotta show him love.
And so I went out west. He said 3 words to me. He said, bro, just follow your curiosities. Those 3 words just like penetrated, because I'm like crying at home. I'm a tearful man, as you know.
Yeah, man.
I'm crying at home. I'm like, my dad's like, what's going on? I don't know what to do. I just went and studied my booty off on these, and then all of a sudden my brother was like, he called me up. He knew, and so he became this anchor point of what are you called to do in this moment? And that's this question that we sit with. What are we here for? What are we moving forward? How are we living our life? How are we serving this world? He says this line also through Tom Brown, a tracker. Take courage to be what the world needs. Take courage to be what the world needs. And so these words started to come through, and then the art, that first language element, started to really sink in of like, I'm here to like compose and write and serve, and not just be a musician. Yeah.
Bring the people together.
Yeah, exactly.
Already you were there. That was you felt that after that sabbatical, it came to you on the West Coast from the guidance of your mentor. Of wow, I'm more than just a horn player. I'm more than just a musician, but I am a gatherer. A weaver.
Yeah.
But then you went on a crazy journey, which we'll get into as a horn player for Medicine for the People.
Right.
For a good chunk. A big journey.
Big chunk.
Big journey, man. But before we jump into that, I do want to back up just a little bit, because now we went on this musical journey, but I want to rewind, because your music in particular and the compositions that you've been bringing through First Language and now through this beautiful project, Resilient Beings, that just released to the world. Give thanks for that. Come on, brother.
Hey.
Congrats on that. There is this spiritual element, but not in the sense of like woo-woo. It's very like bringing the people together in a real sense, in a non-denominational kind of way, where we can all be together, all colors, all nations, around the music. And I know we spoke about it a little bit last night, but I just want to hear about your upbringing in that way and what really brought you to this spiritual path connection.
Beautiful question, man. I love hearing the reflection of when we have mirrors to see power of the circle and the power of community and what that means nowadays. And so when I really let music go, ironically, we talk about love. Love is lost, loss is love. Can we fully let something go to free it? Similar to music. And so I was out in the Northwest, and my brother introduced me to elders, to sweat lodge communities, to fine-tuning the directions to the east, to the south, to the west, and to the north. And those prayers started to feel like there's something familiar in my heart.
Because you didn't grow up going to church or having an experience in that way.
Yeah, it was really kind of equal plane. It was more music in our family was the spirit. Listening to classical music and Earth, Wind and Fire and Miles Davis and Aretha Franklin, and now into PJ Morton and Maverick City music and Elevation Worship. And so these groups started to come in, and I started to sit with, how do I create this experience to bring people back home to a relatable place where everyone can be seen. Like I'm imagining right here in this room what it is to like when we all sit here and sing that Tubby Love song, the SUPERPOWERS song, that Trevor Hall song, the Knock One Medicine, the Rising song, and there's a circularity that I feel in my DNA that feels so relatable when we can close our eyes. And I think at the core we all have a birthright to sing, to free ourselves, to transmute, move the energy that's moving through our body, that then echoes to your body, that echoes to Lily Fang's, that then echoes to, who knows, an auntie that we meet one day, we're like, thank you. And then after that's, the hardest part, I think, in some ways, of this music path is how the space in between, how we're getting to the next experience, how we're getting to the next circle or stage. And that's an interesting polarity I think a lot of us sit with is, when I started touring with Knock One Medicine, it was like literally from the campfires. We met through right in the music, right there in the fire, no words, playing Father Mountain and Ghost Embodied. Picked up the horn and he had said, "Where you been?" I was like, "Where you been?" and I was searching for music with meaning. I was searching. I was searching for having heart to heart after an event, to meet those aunties and uncles, to have that space where, like you're saying before, if you're not raised in a way, we've been so far pushed away from that circular experience, or there's a lot of trauma as well, and and religion is, and at the core, from what I'm hearing more and more, it's like we're all wanting that circular experience, whether it's a good meal, a good song, a place to just feel together.
Amen.
Yeah, so when I was 21, I there was a lot of like hope and faith in some ways that started to enter my body of, music is this bridge. We met in the journey, and Paul Isaac, and
I met Paul Isaac. We didn't speak words either. Just straight into the jam, just straight into the music. It was actually after one of your shows with Nako and Medicine for the People. I think it was 12/12.
12/12, yeah.
On the big island of Hawaii. And it was at the Kava Bar. Uncle Dave, Bayfront, rolled up, Paul Isaac, chanting down Babylon on a djembe, and I had a guitar on my back, and we just went all the way in, man.
Do you remember what song?
All the songs.
All the songs, yeah. It's crazy how those moments can, like 2020 for a lot of us, like these moments of highs and peaks and valleys can lodge in our DNA, and their memory banks in some ways, and then those moments can move us through life, like what you share, like campfire anthems, like the way that you both and Anna, is it? Yeah.
Anna Sorrento, yeah, big up.
Shout out to campfire anthems, moving so many of us, including myself. The spirit of the circle, the spirit of the campfire, and the spirit of collective song. So the musician then becomes this point of like the ember, in some ways, of activating like life and love and tears, and even a place for our anger to sit and rest and be like, hey, like, okay, it's okay, we're in this together. It's a fire element. And we were talking about social media last night, and the dynamics of how are we being seen anymore? I was saying, like, it's a mirror of maybe how we're not being seen. Right now, I'm in it with you, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling rested, I'm feeling seen, and 2020 brought so much for so many of us of this quaking journey. I'm just like grateful to be here and to move through this storm, and to be able to play on amazing stages, but still be able to feel a grief and an emptiness and this loss element of like, what am I here to do? Do I have belonging? Is my life and my worth right here in this music? And that's a question I sit with every day, brother. Just like, and it's a challenge. I don't know if you can relate when people look to us, they're like, oh my God, look at this artist. And at the core, some of us like, yo, like, we're just human. We're suffering. We make mistakes.
Very human.
Yeah, and it's complicated. Like, life is complicated. And in some ways now I'm wondering, crossing this bridge in the 40s, of is music really just a simple language that we're in communication and walking through this journey together of life, liberation, trust breaking, sharing resources, and a bridge for, I keep seeing music as a bridge. Music is one of the deepest bridges. It connects us. It connects us with, in Hawaiian, the ohana, the bridge to Hawaii, the bridge to the Northwest, the bridge to Cherokee, Appalachia land, and the Southeast, the bridge to where you've grown up as well, and the complexities of these lands, and how music can be this translator. And
yeah, man, and connector to everywhere, really. And that's a vision that I know we both hold. Is your album, Music First Language. It is the great connector. It is the piece, you can speak totally different languages and still be able to connect. I've had that experience in other countries where I don't speak the language, but I do speak Bob Marley. And pretty much everywhere you go, he's known and his songs are known, and on both sides of the battlefield. So yeah, music just is that force. I mean, maybe even intergalactically, like who knows, like maybe like, you know, sound, frequency, vibration. Speaking of vibration, this next clip gave me chills on my kneecaps. This is from a live session of Resilient Beings, the title track from Max's new record, and we're jumping in right at the end after Tim Snyder just shredded one of the most soulful violin solos I've ever witnessed. And then Max puts the period on the end of the sentence with so much feel, like he's having a quiet conversation with God, and we get to listen in. So, yeah, take a deep breath and let this moment make you feel something.
We are resilient beings, more than a mind, more than words. We are resilient beings, more powerful than we think. We are resilient beings, more than a mind, more than words, yeah.
Shout out to all the resilient beings. Pretty auspicious that you recorded a lot of that record in Asheville right around the time of the big hurricanes.
The middle of the storm, become a mountain. In the middle of a storm, we find a compass. We were literally singing to that river close to that time, singing We Are Resilient Beings, more powerful, singing in the middle of the storm, singing thank you music, singing joy. That was one of the first places we sung joy, and that came out of these old mountains, I believe, that were as tall as there's the tallest of the mountain, the Himalayas, and they ground down at these beautiful, lush spaces of what I feel is holding space. When I arrived up there I was living in New Orleans, and brass bands marching through New Orleans and really getting the spirit of creative improvised music. But part of my soul was like, man, I need to be near water right now. I'm like losing it every day and crying at the steering wheel. Anyone wondering where all these tears came from, it was during 2020, the breaking point. I thought my dad was going to transition right then, and not go in medicine for the people were going through a hard moment. And then right then, at the same time I put First Language, the chapter before Resilient Beings, 8-year union with Christina, just went into this whole change and separation and the illusion of separation. I learned through this journey of separation is a mindset, and abandonment is a thing that we all carry. Will we be left behind, or will we still be loved? And we think resilient is like, yeah, just fist up. And I realized that for me, everything's with a grain of salt, is that resilience is a journey. It's that first word you spoke of. Resilience is peaks, the valleys, wanting to give up, not seeing the light, hopelessness. All these are these like two palms. And it's in a lot of our dialogues now of like, how do we hold both palms? Because love and light is a beautiful thing, but love is also, I think, holding the storm and holding our friends and allies that are losing it, being like, you don't have to push that away. Like, let us know how we can hold you. And during this storm in 2020, I had to physically hold myself. It was like I couldn't hug my parents. Everyone's freaking out when that virus was moving, and that created a lot of fear in our consciousness. And, one of the biggest sadnesses I had was like, there's no meeting places for us to sing right now. I couldn't find that. And so that's when I started to lean into the collective of like, I'm so broken right now. I just want to sing with the people. And so that's where resilient being stemmed out of. It wasn't out of this like, yeah, we're all like strong and powerful. It's like, how do we hold everything right now? How do we hold love through shadow? How do we hold that we're all complex, beautiful, multidimensional beings on a different journey?
Yeah, the word that comes to mind for me, the word that I feel so deeply when I think of you, I feel like you've really given me a new perspective on the big G word. And it's not G-O-D, I'm talking about grief. Grief, good grief, my brother, good grief. And I remember those moments in 2020. I just felt you so deeply. I feel like a lot of the musical community, the people who know you through the music and who have witnessed you, got to really experience you kind of cracking open, which was so beautiful and so vulnerable. I mean, to the point where I'm sure it was uncomfortable for you. And I'm sure there was a lot of growth and learning what is grief, how does it want to be expressed and moved and held and felt. I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey with those moments. I know we're on the big
podcast. Here we go,
but I can edit all of this out if I want to.
It's like we're walking through a trail right now. I love that with music or podcasts, as we get to create our trail. And thanks for, I reciprocate that to you as well, really feeling you and your journey and this deep journey. As Uncle Doug Goodfeather says, who's in this area, I always remember the deepest journeys from your mind to your heart. And I never understood it until I was like, oh, okay. You see this strong Lakota man and you're like, how did he get to this moment? And you realize that this being had lost his daughter and lost his granddaughter and went through these doorways that brought him back to, the way I interpreted, back to his medicine. And it took walking through these pieces and valleys, and it's that conversation we've been having of like the why. Like, why do these pieces have to move, or why does loss have to come to find ourselves? And it's like a bow and arrow. I see love now as like bow and arrow. The love you cultivate with someone, not if, but when that moves and breaks, you really get to see a different part of yourself. And that's for each of us. Like, y'all could have held space in 2020, and I was about to check out. I was right there on that veil, and I know my parents don't like hearing that, and I needed to go there to that lifelessness moment of, I can't even see this candle right here. It was like that kind of murky in some ways. I know you can relate, because when I see you too, I see a strong pillar of really someone that I appreciate about you is someone that really is not afraid to also like really go all into that space and write from that space and to love through that space. So just putting a palm on your back for that. same here. And yeah, good segue. In 2021, my dad like put his palm on my back, so the arrow is already moving through. I'm going through it, heartbreak and collective grief too. Like you said, that the word of grief has been so pushed away from our society, and of course ancestral grief, and there's even scientific studies that it runs through all of us. It is so interconnected. It's intrinsically connected in our voices and our songs. I'm smiling right now because I feel that doorway of sadness and joy is right there on the cusp. An elder, a youth, like my grandfather transitioning right when I'm born. You're going to call me crazy on this, but when Christina, when I was really grieving this beautiful partner who I still love, and I love her dearly, it took me a few years to really get back to that point. I went through pounding the ground and my body shook for about 33 days straight. And I didn't know if my body was dying. And of course, there's privilege there, and that I had food, water, shelter. And I'm grateful for some allies that were like, I see you in your brokenness and just come stay in my house. And the world's kind of freaking out. And so I'm like shivering. I'm like, I don't know if I can swear in here or not, but you know, like, and then all these voices started coming out of my body, like, and then if I could feel my child coming out, this like, I don't know how to celebrate life. And so when I was going into kind of part of this, it felt like going into this child moment of like, you're going to call me kind of crazy on this, but I there's something that when I was born, I think when someone's born, there's a celebration. Now when someone dies, it's harder to find that. Like, I love this being so much. I think of New Orleans, where there's that grief and sorrow, and in our family, and bless our family, like, I wasn't raised in a way like where I saw tons of men crying or people like at their, you know, I was raised in a smaller community in the southeast corner of Connecticut. So I really was missing, and I still am missing sometimes, those, we said that word before, those mentors that are really holding space of like, grief is love and love is grief, and go out there in the world and love as hard as you can so that you can feel the joy and the sorrow. And so 2021, I'm in it, and then these songs of resilience started to come in, of gratitude through the tears. It wasn't all like, okay, I'm excited for life. So in some ways, the song Joy that we worked on together, beautiful remix, by the way.
When it rains, it pours.
It rains, it pours. Oh yeah. So I'm like holding both these palms. I'm shivering, and this up. In some ways, what we're doing right now with the piano is how I was surviving.
Wow.
Through life. I would just sit by the piano and pray for the world. I pray for myself. I pray for my family that's in it too. And yeah, I'm really grateful to make it through, man. I'm really grateful.
And you mined some gems for all of us. You were playing earlier. I was thinking of that one tune, the brokenness leads to wholeness.
North Star.
Yeah, can you play a little bit?
I got you. A good segue.
This was like straight out of the storm, man. You can just like feel it. Yeah. That moment after you've been through it and the rain finally dries up, you know. The ground's still wet. You can still smell it on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Wholeness leads to picking up ourselves. Brokenness leads to wholeness leads to picking up ourselves. Brokenness leads to wholeness leads to picking up ourselves. Yeah, brother. Brokenness leads to wholeness leads to picking up ourselves.
I know you got some verses to this, man. That's just that.
Oh, a few more. Ocean waves.
Yeah.
Moving all the ways. Crushing life to a stone. So in some ways, I really love how the brokenness that each of us go through. I don't love brokenness, but in some ways I do, because it's this fertility of who we are. These songs that you've been putting out. I'm going to put you on the spot, or Amber's been putting out, or our allies and loves. These become these torches in some ways. I've been sitting with this on quiet walks. Is like, what is it about their deep devotion to love is also the deep devotion to loss, and loss doesn't have to be this negative thing. It could be that we're really just going into the unseen and the underworld of what it might be to really live at that last thread in some ways. I don't know if you can relate, but sometimes at the last thread for me is where the gold is, and there's that line, there's gold on the other side of pain. Mm-hmm. There's gold living in the change. So when North Star came through, I was finding a lot of love again for Christina. It took me this time to go through all the shit, the resentment, the sorrow, and I started to research of like, oh, this is the thing in humanity. Like, there's 5 gates that Francis Weller talks about with initiation, the sorrows of the world, to what we expected and didn't receive, which is huge. If I didn't have a family with this being, or if I didn't have a relationship with an ancestor, my father or mother, we all kind of have these different griefs in some ways. And then I started to lean more into song circles, A.L.A. Blakely, and found myself really longing to get my voice in the collective and get these songs kind of bridged in these, where the author is the forefront and the artist becomes the supporter. Mm-hmm.
Really circle-based music, a different setup, being level with the people, being right there together, not the separation of the stage, the artist, and then the viewers, the consumers. We're all part of this, right? It's, it reminds me of that Jacob Collier magic where we all become the choir. Yeah, man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to be with the music. And I feel like it's an ancient way to be with the music. And somewhere along the way in our consumerist culture, we've created this separation, bar sales and numbers and tickets and just consumer culture out of music. And there's something so powerful to really bring it back to the heart. And having that be the role of the artist is to bring it back there. Not to sell as many tickets as possible, or to be cooler than, or accolades or anything like that, but to really activate the people and bring them into their hearts and create that space. I feel like Coldplay really does that from this stage. I mean, I'm such a huge Coldplay fan.
It's been growing on me as well.
Oh man, just the anthems. I mean, that's the songs, man, being central, not the identity of the artist or the music.
Or picking them apart of like, here's one flaw, now I'm gonna
Yeah.
But to see the humanity in that person and the circularity, what you're saying, or if they're in pain or brokenness, keep going. I love where you're going.
Well, I just want to hear from you, just more about like the role of the artist, like to create that space, to really create the space of vulnerability and connection with people. Because you were just talking about your coming to Circle Song and arriving there, and like how that was feeding you, and how like your journey with Nako Medicine for the People started around the fire, and now what you're doing. I mean, I'm gonna play some clips of just the setup of the experience that you're holding for people to step into. And again, it's it feels like praise and worship of life in a non-religious way. Yeah.
I love that. Thanks for that. It's nice for us to receive too. I've been really focusing on receiving. Like when you give that to me, I get to like water this root system of receiving and not just be like in a pushing away manner. Similar to when we face sadness and emptiness, it can really be, like you're saying, engrossed, or a modern day society pushing alcohol or damaging our lungs to a degree and our organs. And I'm also not anti one or the other. I think we're in this big microcosm of life and we're here to explore, and my body's just very sensitive.
Mr. Jim and Juice over here.
Yeah. Come on, get to the fresh juice bar with some Fuji apples and lime and cilantro and get down at the river and do some squats. Seriously,
you probably don't know.
Yeah. And that's actually kept me alive in some ways. To when I was touring more internationally and nationally, I couldn't figure out at first, like, wow, we're playing so many incredible shows and across this continent and Europe and Australia, but I'm really struggling finding happiness. And it wasn't even about anyone outside of myself. It was more about how I'm relating to the world, how I'm giving. Sometimes I could be by the river with a homie and I'm like so set. I'm just like set. I don't need to be anywhere. There's this line from Resilient Beings on Dreamers. You don't have to go anywhere to know it, to feel it, to sense it. We're made of everything. Dreamers live in the thunder, living in unseen wonder. May we, the people, remember we are the dreamers. That's that Gemini brain going off. I love that line though. We don't have to go anywhere. Like you and I could be right here, listening to this rain and Auntie Lisa coming in and like being really in that state of reverence, of still while having a vision of, okay, how do we get circular music? How do we get our gifts to arenas in a good way? Or how do we a drive to share? I think there's a difference between a drive of really coming from that place of giving and serving, and as opposed to, I'm just doing this for followers. I'm just doing this for streams.
Yeah.
And for me, it's so clear, and I see this in you and others, where we're really in it for the journey. It's that first word we use at the top, the journey of love and the journey of brokenness and the journey of like, we're still here. We're still here after these times. And in some way, some of what we're talking about is privilege in that, like, every day I'm like, man, I got food, water, shelter, and I'm in this bodysuit and I don't have to worry about being targeted as much. And so with that, through what we're sharing, I do want to mention that I'm here to be a vessel, and I'm here to learn. I'm here also to let these songs of what I like to say are all of our songs, first language, Resilient Beings, are here of tools of transformation. And I'm here to listen too, which is musically listening is, Victor Wooten talks a lot about this in the music lesson. It's probably half of the importance of.
Changed my life. That book changed my life.
Did it? Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I read it on the way up to Berklee College of Music in the U-Haul. Like, yeah, man.
Coming from Savannah.
Yep.
Wow.
From Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just keep holding that energy in my heart that we can keep creating and utilize emotion and life force into something beautiful. I love that Navajo Dene prayer. It has become beautiful again. It has become beautiful again. Because like you were just saying, with what's just going on right now overseas, it's just so easy to like be like, there's how, like why? Like, have we not reached a point in our consciousness where we can really drop our armor down, you know, especially in the masculine line, where we can really learn to move energy through in a good way. You know, I still, even in this conversation, I can feel it in myself of like the armor that can come up sometimes of this dance of how to be strong or have an outward, but really there's something to be said around this dance between these two energies of how do we come back to the land, to the elements being also our leaders, which a lot of elders I feel like teach us that. I can come to a circle in a good way and get a lot of praise, but the key I think is also, it's like we have to have a space at the center for the space in between, for the water, for the fire. We don't have to, but it's like it leaves a space for breath for each person to be like, oh, I got this inside myself. I got belonging right there. There's that line, what's that? Sorry, it takes me, I'm slow with certain things, but it's like you can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. The same kind of thing. You can lead the collective to a good place, to the good water, but you can't force someone to crack open. Mm-hmm. And so each of us, in some ways, have it took me 33 years in some ways, to 35 years to go into a breaking process, to learn about love and grief. And sometimes that's a risk. I think every day is kind of a risk. We're taking a risk right now to go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. You can lead the community to the circle. Yeah, but you can't make them participate or feel it. And I feel like the music really is the way. It is the thing that dials in the vibration when the songs are resonant, when they hold that, when the chorus is resonant, when people feel safe, when there's not the dogma attached to it, or when it can just be raw human emotion. And then I witness you pass the torch, my bro, which is so beautiful. To still be holding a vibration, to still be holding the container, but to really allow people to step into the song and step up to the mic and share their voice and their piece and their experience. That is healing. That is revival. Yeah, man. Woo. Come on. Take us to church. Love Show Radio Podcast.
Love Show Radio Podcast. How did it come alive?
Man,
this is our first one.
Yeah, this is the first episode of the Love Show Radio Podcast, and I had a radio show in college called The Love Show.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Disc jockey, weekly, spinning my favorite tunes, and occasional interviews with some of my favorite artists. And I just got the message it was time to fire it back up again. And the whole purpose of this iteration of the Love Show podcast, radio podcast, is to show love. The purpose of the Love Show is to show love. And I just wanted to bring you on here because you're one of the most inspiring musicians in my life right now. And we happen to be collaborating on music together at this point, and just felt like the iron was hot. So, and you just released a record, and yeah, man, I'm really grateful that you trusted me with this remix. And you were talking about circular music, and I'm witnessing that currently in the dance music space a lot. And I've been really obsessed with dance music lately. And particularly, there is call it a cultural phenomenon called ecstatic dance. And I was never really into it. I had some weird experiences, but I see it growing in a beautiful way. And there's pioneers in the movement, DJs who are playing incredible sets that really understand how to take us on a wave, where it is all about the journey. It's all about the wave. And it's not about the DJ. It's about the music. It's about the dance and what can move through that dance and that music and that experience, that wave. And so to be able to create a remix of Joy in a way that I feel like can really open up the dance floor in this modern time of where we're at was such a absolute joy. No pun intended. Yeah. Truly to create. I felt some resistance at first because I've never done a remix for someone else before. I've been curious about it and really been deep in production lately. So to get my hands on this track and take it to another realm was so fulfilling. I'm so grateful.
Put some hours on there too.
Yeah, man.
Some passion in there.
Yeah, man. Some hours. Definitely 240 tracks.
I thought about to say 240 hours too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. So I'm excited actually to share it with the world right now here on the very first episode of the Love Show Radio Podcast. Here is Joy, SUPERPOWERS remix.
Max, dirime de sogno.
So good.
It's okay.
So
Yeah.
you know that little
Yeah. Okay. Hey. We got backup choir.
So that actually, I heard it in my head before I put it down, and it actually is the sample from Genie in a Bottle from Christina Aguilera. They go, oh,
Hey.
and I just took it and kind of like morphed it and changed it a little bit. And
Put in the right key.
totally. Yeah, pitched it a little bit. There's all kinds of little
Nuances.
gems hidden inside of that record. So I've been waiting to tell you about that one, man. Just
anything else?
getting into the creative mode. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I used a James Brown sample. That Get Down. That's JB for sure. I mean, but if any of the copyright people ask, no, it wasn't JB. Pitched it, manipulated it a little bit. But yeah, man, super fun to put my spin on Joy there and make it full on tech house, Afro house kind of banger for the dance floor. And
I'm curious, just on a friend note or just a musician, like, because you went to Berklee School of Music as well, and coming into getting deep into the voice, guitar, keys, what was it for you that, I mean, even for me, bridging into Joy, as I said, this is an edge for me. I've done majority really deep live. Resilient Beings is this live, like, leaning in, raw human element. And then when I heard Joy, I was like, I got to send it. Because what I appreciate about you is you're bridging these different worlds from Tubby Love to Superpowers. Is there anything, like, I'm just curious of how that found you, where you could be right by the fire with a guitar, with Paul Isaac, but then also just right, in this other setting where you're moving people in a different way. And just, I don't know, I'm just curious about that of how you're, it's an edge for me. Like I said, this is an edge where I trusted and sent the stems from Joy, all the files, and I was like, this feels like it wants to be on the dance floor. And Elijah Ray, shout out to Elijah Ray, was like, he also influenced this piece of like, hey, what if you went, instead of, usually it's in minor and major, we switch it. And that melody works in both. And I was just curious, here's my musician brain going off, but yeah, what was that switch for you where you're like, oh, I can actually bridge into modern day realm and be on the dance floor and then be singing with people, or maybe be creating the spirit of campfire anthems right there on the dance floor?
yeah, man, totally. That's a great question. For me, it came from steeping in dance music for the last 5 years or so, kind of falling in love with it. It really was joy for me. It brought me out of the darkness.
This is 2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020 is when I found dance music, really found dance electronic music. It started it started with like the Chainsmokers and Martin Garrix, like some of these like kind of more mainstream artists. I just loved the song. It was like an actual song, but there were drops. So I was dabbling more in the pop realms in that way. And then, I found ecstatic dance through Ashtara, sending her so much love. And she really showed me what it meant to create an hour and a half dance wave DJ set from like a drone, and then building it all the way up to a moment like Joy at 137 BPM.
Let's
house. Full power, and then all the way back down to a drone and everything in between. I noticed what that did for the community dancing together. That was the big inspiration for this tune. Actually, there was a remix that I heard of an Alias song, the Timbaland one. And Are You That Somebody? There's like this house remix of that, and tech house remix. And so I started dabbling in that realm for this one. It reminded me of this vibe a little bit. And this song, Joy, I actually went to the bridge of the song, and there was a moment where you were doing the minor chords, and I was like, oh, there it is. And one by one, I started basically taking away everything, all the stems that you had sent me, which
was years. It was years of. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's years of dreaming in some ways. These stems, or these years of experiences of literally communicating to friends in Ghana to help in the song and choir, and bridging with dancers to also the Northwest family, and then the choir in Asheville. But I'll let you keep going. Yeah, so you have these stems from the track.
And one by one, I just start taking them away. And then I get so excited, and I send you like the idea at first, and you're like, and I'm like, here's where I'm going. Please don't give me any notes yet, because I'm still, I'm still figuring out where I'm going, but I'm so excited. I just want to show you. And basically your response was like, that's cool. And can you basically add back all these things that you took out of the track? And I was like, oh no. Which it was actually a beautiful thread that led me to this balanced place between the organic and the electronic. I feel like we really nailed it here with this song. Keeping the djembe, keeping those really prominent elements, really the choir for sure. And also being able to add some growly bass in here, and some synth action, and some risers, and some samples. And I found this sample from Africa on Splice of these guys talking on like a field recorder, and the guy goes, Max, do you remember this song?
Dang.
And I'm just like, oh man, I gotta start the song with that. I really do. And to me, it was like a kind of a cheeky little moment of like, Max, do you recognize this song even? Because it's changed so much since you sent it to me. Like, do you remember this song? Do you remember this version of this song? Well, you will now.
Wow. Come on. I couldn't fully hear it. It's amazing to hear that. Yeah. The song does feel familiar. Yeah. It feels like it could be on Mumford & Sons album, or like those bridgings from North America to Mama Africa. Also Paul Simon, there's that influence. And then now this dance element that feels like it's going to be on a lot of dance floors, which is amazing. Definitely share it and move with it. It's people don't realize how much goes into a song, into a remix, and how much sitting and walking with the song. And then there's so much beauty, and also, like you were saying before, this tension where when you're collaborating with someone, you're trusting, and then you're meeting these edges, and you're finding this point. And a lot of beautiful art is birthed from tension. I think people forget that of even in angelic songs, it can be this going through that element of getting into our core, like root of trying to find our will to live. And then through that place we hear, like, that song came through that place where I was just like living this funny little spot in downtown Asheville, and it just came in at 4 a.m. and I got up, and I was the subliminal space. Sometimes it's like the liminal space when you're dreaming. A lot of times, I don't know if you can relate, it's like, oh, this is kind of cool, but I'm going to keep sleeping. As Quincy Jones says, sometimes that magic comes alive at night when things get quiet. No wonder you stay up late in that muse hours. And this outpouring, sometimes song takes, like Thank You for This Day, which we've been sharing around the world now, the melody and the song. It took me 10 years to put that on the world. It was birthed in the Hamakua Coast and Big Island of Hawaii, and on a sunrise. So 8-10 years. Other songs like Joy was like right there. In 1 hour, I sat down. Here's the 4 verses, to the water, to the fire, to the thunder, to the mama, and bringing the lifting the feminine's voice in the mama section, and when this came through, I was like, this has to be a bridge to, I've always been influenced from West African rhythms. It's where a lot, even New Orleans, this epicenter of where a lot of the bending of art, the what makes music pretty, as Nicholas Payton says, is like what makes a lot of music cool. It came from this deep ancestry of like New Orleans and West African music and the bending of notes. And so when that melody came in, I was like, I need to connect in with some friends in Accra, Ghana, and I had worked with some communities out there as well with first language, and it was so clear, like, we got to get choir on this. So I got in that dreamer mindset and got on WhatsApp, and I texted a filmmaker, and I was like, who knows a choir? And Saida Wright's partner, Saida sings a beautiful
So good.
Queen and African-American gospel artist out of Portland, Oregon. Shout out to Saida Wright, who's been a huge influence, and like yourself, really nudging me to like, go ahead and sing. It's okay if you miss notes. It's okay to make mistakes. Because I do that in the circles too. I'm like, all right, everyone sing. And then here I am sometimes, and I'm like the one that's most vulnerable to like really let it out. Because when we're alone, quote unquote, we're never alone, but when we're alone sometimes on a walk, we can fully let it out. And then when we're with people, there's like that fear element that I raise my hand to. And the whole idea with these circular musical experiences, I'm calling them, is that the music just penetrates, and it's in that space where everyone can free and let it go. And it's like what we said about Berkeley. We learn it, we let it go and free it. Same thing when we recorded Resilient Beings and Joy. It's like, here's the song, let's let the song free through you. And so a lot of these recordings, even through Joy, it came from that space of like, yes, I'm calling you all in, or I might be hiring artists, but I'm really calling you in to just help this spirit of the song lift up. So let it move through you. And if you make mistakes, like, let's walk through it together. And so there was many moments like that where there'd be tension in the room, and now I'm calling myself as a musical director and conductor and beyond. I feel like part of my role is to help move the energy in the room. And moving the energy in the room literally might be like sitting back for an hour and just playing the keys and not stressing out. And then other times it might be like getting with the strings and then getting with the horns and coordinating, and getting people comfortable was a big part of this record, is feeding them well and not missing corners, and like, okay, let's get some good food in there and like make sure the artists are nourished. As we know, the arts, we don't have to go too far in this, but the arts is one of the least supported pieces in this world. And so I feel like it's one of the most important things of what we're doing, is bridging and creating these experiences and literally devoting our whole life to walk through this doorway of sound and time on technology and writing and learning the chords. So what an honor, brother, to be on the journey and also collaborating and bridging now to the dance world and bridging to acoustic experiential music, I guess is what I'm calling it, and ways that we can lift each other up. And I'm feeling so inspired from our time here that we can create more, how do you call it, networks of artists where we're really feeling supported and not in that individual, like, this is just me and the guitar.
Relationship-based art is what you said to me.
Yeah, I love that line. Relationship-based art. How are we relating? How are we relating in this moment? Am I able to lean in? How could I support Tubby Love and Superpowers? How can we support Brother Max and Resilient Beings? How can we support our friends and allies, and then create this web where we're really on a somatic level, like just in this space of like, wow, I'm feeling so supported. And you know, one of the sadnesses that I've carried with me for a lot of life is like the system we're in is destroying our humanity, and it's doing its job in some ways. And by that, I'm not saying good versus bad. It's just that we've all agreed to this model that feels like fight, flight, and freeze. I gotta go make it, or if I don't make it, that means I don't belong, or being pushed out of society. When I was going through this journey of almost giving up on life in 2021, I started to like find myself near like houselessness people and being like, God, I can relate to these people, and we say they're crazy, but they're just mirrors of us, and sometimes with a lot of intelligence. And I'm thinking of this Hawaiian uncle who was speaking, I think it was during the fires or the manipulation that was happening in Maui, and he was just talking about this energy from the bottom to the top, and in the relationship to land and the relationship to ourselves and to nature and to the art. And I just got really moved in that moment of, wow, how can we do this as artists, of really leaning into each other and really moving from that place of the utmost gratitude of like, thank you, life, come in, life, welcome. And I definitely raised my hand to the other realm of wanting to quit music, shame of like failing in a partnership is a big one for me. I went through all those voices of like, wow, I didn't provide, or I didn't show up, and is there something wrong with my masculine? Is there something wrong where in my mind I'm like out there really serving? And so I really had to mirror back to myself of like, brother, you have to love yourself first at the end of the day. If you're not loving yourself, you can't love anything, as cliche as that sounds. And so I went into all the sadness of like, we're in this inner battle with ourselves and society, and even in masculine and feminine, and everything in between, of course, all the spaces in between. It doesn't have to be just those two. But I feel like in the nuclear way too of our relationships, we put so much pressure of like, I didn't make it, so that means failure. But it's the opposite in some ways of like, the grief that we feel, it in some ways is the gold of what we gave.
Well, that's actually, man, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, is to be able to really connect the web even deeper. I was inspired by our brother Elijah Ray, who just launched his first episode of his podcast and built a community on this app called Circle, which is a place where people can gather outside of the noise of social media, where it can be really focused around the music in that particular community. So yeah, I feel very inspired with the web of creators who are in my life and who I've been weaving with. And yeah, that's the purpose of this podcast, is to shine light and show love to those people and just let them know that we're here. Give them even more of a platform to speak their truth and their mythos, their modus operandum, what they're doing in the world. So yeah, man, I'm going to ask you a vulnerable question.
Lay it on me, brother.
How can we show you, Max Ribner, how can we show you love? Sit with that.
Okay. Wow. Some way it's coming through my hands right now. I mean, by you just pointing your palm at me right there, that's a thing right there. When you come up to someone and be like, yo, like, I see you, and be like, wow, that song Joy, or that song Resilient Beings, or it really moved me at a perfect time. I love that idea of like, that's our root system that waters something much deeper than ourselves, those spiritual paychecks, I guess you can call them. Yeah, and there's a lot of negativity around that word spiritual sometimes. And I like to say that gratitude or prayer or spirit can literally just be thank you for this day, right? It's like, I'm thankful for another day. Thank you for this moment. It doesn't have to be like you were saying, media can be an interesting place where we can hide from each other or not be seen. It's a communication tool. And wow, I'm grateful for that. Like, someone finds our music online, they come up to you later and give you a hug, and it's like, oh, okay, I see. Right? Those moments where I'm like, okay, thank you, universe. Like, I made it to this moment. And we might be before that struggling of, I don't have the perfect life situation. One thing that I do is like, I don't have a house. I don't have a family. I'm 40 years old. Like I've been carrying some shame around that of like, can you relate with me on that?
Come on.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah. Like this age or this shame around, social status. But I found myself in the last 4 years really thanking my previous partner, Christina, for helping, me go further into myself in the places that I was afraid to go in. I hit my utmost fear of like, what if I lose this person? And in some ways, what I've heard, it's like our heartbreaks can be even deeper than death sometimes. The commitment to love is, again, this commitment to brokenness. And the scariest part about love is to go back there and to fully do this again and be like, okay, now, brother, check this out.
Preach.
I've been really sitting with, well, how do we do that for the collective? In some ways, I've taken some sacrifices and really leaned into the circles. And granted, if a queendom came in, I'm like, okay, I'm fully going in. The arms open to that. And sometimes we have these quiet moments where people need us. I love serving the people. How I get there is the hard part. It's like Youssoufa Sidibe, who's from Senegal. He's like, no struggle, no music.
No struggle, no music.
No struggle, no music from Youssoufa. And I sit with that every day of, what is any canyon goes through a carving. It's just like our body. It's like we're going to go through these moments of, I think for any of us being born on this planet, we're going to go through it. And how we fill that space is crucial. Our world will put so much emphasis on filling. Now, again, I want to say that's not like one is right or wrong or good versus bad, but what I did learn through this process is like, there's a lot of love if we can really enter that space with courage. And I'm getting goosebumps right now. Facing emptiness. And like, I've had that book sitting over there, Pieces Every Step by Thich Nhat Hanh. He's been like a guide for me of, I see him sitting with me sometimes, laying in bed of like, being like, hey, it's okay, whatever you're going through, it's okay. And so when I've been in these circles with the people, I like, everything that I'm putting out lyrically, it's literally what I'm speaking to myself. Bro, you're resilient, it's okay, like, just keep going. Yes. Thank you, music. In the middle of the storm, become a mountain. Brokenness leads to wholeness. So in some ways, when people are showing up, like, well, what the heck is this about? And in other ways, it's like, I'm going to share right here. Like, literally, this is just internal dialogue that's gotten me through life.
Come on.
Yeah.
Testify.
Yeah. And you're connected to that. Trevor Hall's connected to that. Rising Appalachia, Nako, and Medicine for the People. I could go into my story mind and be like, this person's not connected. Like, no, everyone's connected. Even if I've had love and tension, it's like, I'm in this space, and I know it might sound a little bit interesting, but love all. Like, do the best you can.
Say it.
Love all. And even if it's in a moment, I don't know if you can relate or feel free to chime in. It's like every time I've gotten to that moment of like fear, or what will it be like to see my previous partner 4 years, 5 years later? It's like, am I willing to meet the eyes with courage to know that we're all intrinsically connected and doing the best we can, and healing from paternal line and maternal line and the wounds of our parents. That's a whole other journey that we could talk about, of ancestral layers. And that's for me why I put my hands right here on the keys, because we open the canvas, and that feels so beautiful to say. It's like, thank you too for the gifts you bring. Thank you for all your devotion and for like pushing through. It's inspiring me as well. And when we can mirror that, that's how I would say I can really keep showing up or be loved. It's like,
Heyo.
those moments in between where it's like, I see you and thank you. $1 million checks could be nice.
Spiritual paychecks, bro. I like that one.
You know, how we relate in the monetary world. Like, it's a thing. Like, I know I got things to work on. And
man,
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Keep the music coming, man. Just keep the music coming. That is, as you said, there's this beautiful spiritual paycheck that happens, that reciprocity. And those physical paychecks will come.
Hey.
They'll come, man. Got to keep building that catalog. Keep giving us those anthems. That's it, man. We're going to take it out with this one. But speaking of the anthems, I just want to take a moment to let you guys know that Max Ribner right here is going to be joining Paul Isaac and I on Campfire Anthems Volume 3. So keep a lookout for that one. Come on now.
Hey, Campfire Anthems. You want to take the lead?
Oh, yeah.
Come
on. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. Yeah. Thank you for the gifts you bring.
Hey.
They inspire me to sing. Inspire me to sing. Said a thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. Yeah. Thank you for the gifts you bring. They inspire me to sing. Inspire me to sing.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. Give me one. Sing it. Come on, play it. Come on now.
Okay, we get it here. Thank you for this day. Yeah. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for the gifts you bring. They inspire me to sing. Inspire me to sing.
Yes, brother. Come on. You've been listening to the Love Show Radio Podcast. If this episode moved you, made you laugh, or made you feel a little more human, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Till next time, keep your heart open, your breath deep, and your playlist soulful. Tubby Love signing off.